Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Pocket Jacks. We are first to act. We are only 7 players. This puts us in like EP3. So I'm going to use that starting range. Definitely we're going to be raising with Jacks. So going to be raising. Might not raise all of these, like all these suited aces here. But definitely I'd probably do the suited connectors and so forth. So I open raise to 3, and then I get raised. I get 3-bet here. It folds back around to me. So this player is playing 21-14 to 1.75% 3-bet stat. This looks like it's going to be fairly tight. But when we look at his notes that I have here, I've played with this guy over 1,000 times for over 1,000 hands. We see that he can raise with jacks, kings plus, ace queen, king queen off. It looks very similar to another guy that we played, I think maybe yesterday, where we read through that hand. In this case, I think we've got, if he has ace queen off and king queen off, he has the suited versions as well. So if I put all of that and include jacks and queens, we're at 5.43%. That seems a little high given his 3-bet stat, since it's only 2%. But if we look at just standard percentages, this right here is 2.5%. That's 2%. I mean, they have to both be in the range. So all those hands had to be in there. So I think just this could be over the last, 3 months or so where I have stats on him. Maybe he just hasn't had the hands. So I'm going to go with the 3-bet range that looks something like that. It comes back to me. We're obviously not going to be playing all of these. We're out of position. Early position raise represents strength. We're going to really just have to tighten up. I think what we're looking at is probably just going ahead and 4-bet aces. I think ace king and kings have the option. We could either 4-bet or call. Just kind of, I think, depends on how the game's been going, what the situation is. I think we're going to be we should be pretty tight because our early position raise represents strength, and now he's 3-betting us, represents even more strength. So I think we're going to be getting rid of basically everything here. We're 74 hands. I don't know if he's raised us a couple times or how often we're getting 3-bet, but I'd probably go ahead and 4-bet ace king and the kings. I feel like I need to do that now. So we're just working with a very narrow range of pocket pairs. And we're going to see the flop. So the flop comes down queen 9-7. Doesn't hit us. When we think about villain's hand, he has the queens, ace queen, king queen. He's going to hit top pair a lot. He does miss with ace king at 16 combos. But he'll have aces, he'll have kings, he'll have jacks that cause us to split the pot, and so forth. I think our plan's probably just to check fold here. We do have the jack of hearts, which is good. You could just see that we're either a set or we're like an under pair. That's about it. Oops, hold on. Yeah, set or we're one of these, middle pair here. So the sets could be queens or nines. I guess we could always try. It kind of comes down to, what do we think villain's going to do? Do we think he would give up if we check raise him? Would he give up an overpair? Would he give up a queen? I think it could be believable that we have trips, but definitely I think it's going to be hard for us to represent like a straight or represent like a flush. So he bets. I think our plan here is probably just to go ahead and fold. I think he's betting top pair, over pair. He can probably even bet pocket pair. He could probably even bet jacks here. Some players don't, but his c-bet stat looks like he probably does. Since he's in position, he'd include flush draws, so you can see 75%, that's good. And he basically beats us with everything that he has. So I think for us, our play right now is just to go ahead and check fold. Be done with the hand. I didn't do that. I check called. I think that's a mistake. 100% mistake. We should be folding. Maybe we're getting tricky with all of this stuff. I doubt it. I think check raise with set seems like most likely scenario. We could sometimes call and then look for the check raise on the turn. We do have the jack of hearts, reduces the chances of having a heart flush. Be it really unfortunate if we check and a heart comes out. That's all I could say. But I think we could easily kind of hold off the check raise on our set. So I think with the set, what we'll do is reduce it down and say 50% of the time we're going to check raise. Other time we just check call. And that means then if we're going to check raise with the set, we're going to have to check raise with some of these. Maybe when we have the jack of hearts or the 10 of hearts. Maybe. So I called again, mistake. I think that really is a big mistake. Queen of diamonds, and I'm gonna say I think this hand. I thought about it. I'm like, why did I call? You know, why am I calling here? I've had several of those hands the last few days where, like, I was at that decision. I'm like, I should just go ahead and fold because I'm not gonna really like calling again another barrel. And then for some reason I just called thinking, well, if he doesn't bet we get to see a free showdown, and that rarely happens. So queen of diamonds happens, comes out. I don't think it's worthwhile to bet. Betting's gonna freeze the action. If anything, I think we could check. If he checks behind, he probably doesn't have a queen, and then we could lead if we have our full house or quads, and we might get aces, kings to call. So I think we do the right thing of checking. Villain checks behind. So when he checks behind, I think I could have quads. Not necessarily thinking three of a kind. I mean, he could, not necessarily. I'd say no three of a kind. I think overpair and one of these underpair is now what he's looking at, along with like a no made hand, something like that. Which still, I mean, he beats us. So the question is, once he checks, you know, he set up a situation. Once he checks, can we bet and get him to fold? I just don't. I don't think so. I think we have to really go large with this to work. And the 10 of hearts doesn't help, because could we reliably have heart draw? I don't think so. I think we raise first in and then we called a 3-bet out of position. It's going to be hard for us to call with the hearts, and why would we have just check called on the flop? I think ace king of hearts could be a suitable check raise, kind of balance off the trips that we have. I'm not believing it. So if we were going to take a stab at it, it had to be now. We had to go for it. Had to go for the 10, kind of represent that we have the flush. I don't think we do. I think we would lead out with quads. I think we could lead out with full house, and then that means we'd have to lead out with all of the jacks based on our range. But again, that means we had to call someone with the jacks and with the 10s, and I don't like the call. So he bets. What is he going to bet here? I think now he's betting quads, possibly betting the flush, maybe betting the overpair. I mean, probably betting the overpair, but we're beat. We fold. We should fold. I didn't. I called. He shows kings. That's in that overpair. 60% chance. Most of the hands he'll have will be that overpair. So we just bad play. we shouldn't have played it. So what we're gonna do is just kind of take notes on him, on what he did. So he 3-bet 3-bet to 8. What was it? 8.6 in MP and low jack versus EP RFI 3 big blind with king of spades. Okay, now he is in position, so he bet about a third. Bet 33%, check. And then he bet about 33% again, not quite, about 35%. So queen of spades, 9 of hearts, 7 of hearts, queen of diamonds, 10 of hearts. I mean, maybe he was worried about the hearts, but I don't know. I made mistakes. So I do want to check this out on GTO. I think we should have just folded. So we're gonna run this with our ranges. So in position range looks something like this. I think my in position or out of position range is just that, something real tight. We've got a queen of spades, 9 of hearts, and 7 of hearts. Build decision tree. Let's go back. We're at 18.6, and we've got like 91. So we'll do 19 starting stack, 91 effective stack. We are going to look at. He did smaller size. We're going to do smaller size here. We're going to run the solver, and we will be back. All right, so this took a little bit longer than I expected. We're out of position, and it looks like GTO wants us betting somewhat. Betting 40% of the time, leading here. That's curious. If we bet, what are we? Villain's really going to be calling a whole lot. And then what do we do with the queen? Then we still fire. We're betting, and that includes, if you notice, like sometimes betting with jacks, sometimes betting with the tens, but definitely leading with the trip nines, leading 50%, about 50% of the time with the queens. And because we're leading with those, we're gonna have to balance it with these underpairs. So I think that's somewhat crazy. And then we're betting again for same reasons. We have to have balance. And then if he calls again, which I do expect him to do, then we are betting guaranteed. And this is all for the smaller sizing. So I bet sizing plays a role here. So once we get to this spot, we're basically betting 100% based on our range. We're playing it strong. Villain should be folding all of those. I don't know how many villains are actually going to be folding aces and kings. A lot of people get stubborn. But check is also okay. You can see check, predominantly check with jacks and tens. We do have checks with our queen. I think we would check. He's betting. And we do have check raise. This is kind of what I was thinking. We're going to have to check raise with queens and nines. We do have to have some balance, but it doesn't look like we're balancing a huge number. Looks like with our check raise, we've got like 1.7 combos and then 1.04 combos. So yeah, looks like we favor check raising when we have the heart, but it's also kind of mixed. Sometimes we check raise, sometimes we just call. So we called here, and I think that was it's I'm a little surprised that we don't have a fold. Well, I mean, we do. Look at all of these folds. We should be folding most of the time, 95% of the time. Well, no, actually more. So folding overall is 65%. So with our jacks, with our tens, the hearts makes it a little more likely that we're going to call. That could be a positive. But I don't think we're really giving ourselves a way to win if we just call, because we're not. I think we're just checking to see what's going to happen. But the most likely excuse me, the most likely play here, or the recommended play, is to just fold most of the time. That's about half and half. Half the time we play, half the time we don't. So we did call. Queen of diamonds, we check. Villain is supposed to be betting with this range, but he checks. And that's where I was looking at, is once he checked, I thought, man, is he gonna give up? Is he gonna give up ace king? And that's kind of what I was expecting. I was counting up with that call on the river. Okay, he's got ace king, and he's got aces and kings, because now he's scared that the queen hit. Maybe he has tens, but tens fill up. So at this point, I'm thinking we've got 16 ace kings. We've got 12 aces and 12 kings. There's more likely that he'll have ace king than kings. That's assuming he checks those. So he did check his kings, and then it's up for us to be betting. And you could see that we're betting about 25% of the time, and you could see that we're betting a small amount. So I think with our jacks, we're okay to check, and he bets again. Now he should be checking, but he bets. And then we have like a call. So I think GTO wise, we probably played it okay, but exploitatively, I don't like it at all. I don't like how we played. I think we should just fold on the flop. I think we're going to be behind more often than we're ahead. The turn card definitely didn't help us with that queen of diamonds, because now it makes it less likely that we had a queen. I think argument for a call here is if the turn was, let's say, anything smaller, like 10 or smaller, I think that could actually help us, because we check called. You can kind of eliminate aces. You could probably eliminate kings from the range. Maybe we have ace kings, but we have those under pairs. And now, when we check call, it's kind of making it seem like maybe we have a queen. Maybe we did hit trips. Maybe we have ace queen and we have top pair with top kicker. I think king queen's probably out. And then a low card comes on the turn. If he checks again, or if he bets again on the turn, I think it's safe to say he probably has aces and kings, and we could run an elaborate bluff. We could try to bluff, increase our variance with that. But I think overall we check, and if he bets, we're done with it because he's representing an overpair. If he checks though behind, then it opens us up to leading pot size bet, maybe bigger bet on the river to get ace king to fold. I think now on a different turn card, I think it maybe. I don't know, I think it maybe looks a little. Well, we don't want to edit tree. Okay. Turn report, that's what I want. So for player 2, jacks and tens are really bad for him. All of the rest are pretty good. Let's check that out again. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like jacks and tens are really what we're looking for. There's not a huge number, kind of neutral down here, but I think it sets us up to where we could make a play and try to represent trip queens if we think villain could fold. Does this change if, let's say, instead of a third, we're going about, oops, half pot? We're gonna run this. And just a check. So hold on. All right, and we are back, and still looks like we are betting more frequently in this case. With a larger size, we are taking a stab because we could easily hit queens and nines. What if we check? He bets, which I expect him to do. We're folding jacks, so it changes, and it's still a little surprised at our lead at what we're supposed to do. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, you can look tomorrow for another one.